Thank you, Trustee Rick Moreno, for the word non-negotiable. Trust me. Trustee Jennifer Key.
Okay. I know there are all kinds of people reaching out for the $32.7 billion. And a couple of those groups, and I think public schools should be it's the largest part of the Texas budget. We should get the largest percentage of that surplus. But I know that because of people who are pushing vouchers, two of the biggest things that concern me, this money belongs to the taxpayers, belongs to the people of Texas. When you're pushing vouchers, you're saying it's okay. Now, I hope I'm not wrong in saying this out loud. They're not subject to public information requests, are they? Charter.
Private schools?
Private school. Okay, for vouchers for private schools. And there's no local board. So they're not accountable to the taxpayers in the neighborhood in which they are picking up students to be on there. So there's no accountability, and yet our money is going there. I can't call and say, when's your next board meeting? It may be in New York City. I don't know. And I'm not flying to New York for a Yes Prep board meeting with a bunch of business supporters that know nothing about education. That's my soapbox for the second time tonight. You know, they kept that ESSER funding. Was it ESSER 2? The state?
ESSER 1 and then ESSER 2.
Okay. And can they use some of that surplus to give the districts a one-time boost to get things back, saying, here's the ESSER money we took from you, now we're going to give it back to you as part of this surplus?
So there is a discussion of using $4 to $6 billion in the current biennium as a supplemental appropriation to raise the spending cap. And they just haven't stipulated if any of that will go to the foundation school program or not, but they could.
But they could. Okay. And doing rough math in my head, and I don't really like doing math in my head, if they moved to enrollment basis for funding schools, and we're currently at about 92 to 93% average daily attendance, does that equate to about $500,000 for us?
Oh, no, a lot more.
How much more?
I believe it was in the realm of tens of millions of dollars.
So, I'm oversimplifying it. I need the people with the math brains to tell me if we've got $100 and we're losing $1 of that. No, that's 1%. If we're losing $10 of that because of, and I'm using simple math, because of ADA being the factor that figures in, that's $10 per $100. So you're right, it's lots of money. That just that one simple thing.
I think statewide, it's if I remember right, it's I believe it was $5 billion, maybe more than that.
So we could fund a really good raise with the changes to changing from ADA to just based on enrollment.
Yes.
Because that would be continuing for the biennium anyway.
Yes, but we think that it needs to be that plus the cost of living.
Okay. All right. Teachers, wherever you are, call your legislator.
Because the taxpayers are paying for the cost of living that's been seen in property values. And
it was sideways. The one thing I did want to point out in those reductions is they're not actual reductions in all the positions, because some of that reduction figures in the unfilled positions that are currently in unfilled.
That won't be filled.
That won't be
filled. So they're reductions in budget to budget, yes, going forward. They would be less staff members, FTEs. So we budgeted this year to have X number of FTEs, whether we were able to hire them or not, and that's every year. But it's been especially troublesome since COVID, harder and harder to fill all positions in the budget. So I don't want there to be any misunderstanding that we're going to end the year $19 million lower in fund balance because we haven't been able to hire all the positions we budgeted for.
Right.
But just as practice of being able to live within our means going forward, should we get better in hiring in all positions, then we have to have the money available to fund it. So,
And mainly what Alief has done in the past, because I know the fear of a reduction in force is very real for everybody. We've got to fix the budget.
we've
and
never
live
had
within our budget.
we've never had to do that. So, well, that's always a hope. We can't take anything off the table until we know where we're at with the budget going forward.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
just
too
don't
early.
want to, I lost my word, it happens. I don't want to make people fearful unnecessarily.
Correct.
And so I think this transparency will help everybody gain a deeper understanding of how the process works. And
I think that's why Dr. Mays has already communicated that with the board and the intent to give a cost of living or an inflationary supplement in March, and then another significant supplement in September to say to all staff that we know you're still dealing with inflation and the state hasn't made it right. We're in the middle of budget woes, but we have to do the best we can to know you're in it with Alief and part of a long-term solution, that if we can get to the finish line of a balanced budget and we can get the legislature to fund us better, then we're going to be back in a very strong position from a salary and benefit standpoint like we were accustomed to before COVID.
thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Jennifer Key. Trustee Greg Patrick?
I'm going to reserve making comment at this time, or made my expressions very clear in the past, but I will address this at a later time, that some concerns I have, especially with the ESSER funding and the use of it. But I'll be talking with Dr. Mays and with you very soon.
Trustee Ann Williams?
Oh, I